So, hi. I'm Nikita, open source guy, open source DevRel, you can call me. So, some time ago, and I'm autistic, so if I look weird, that's how it's supposed to be. So, some time ago, I found a way to become a good Java developer, and I thought, oh, yeah, is it better now? So, hello, my name is Nikita Koselev, and I'm an open source DevRel. I think that's the closest you can call me. And some time ago, like 2 years ago, I finally found a way how to become a good developer. So that's a very hard task to do because normally we are stuck in our own projects. So it's very easy to get very focused in on the stuff you know. And if you work in enterprise, then probably it's Java 8 or maybe 11 if you're lucky. So I found a way, and then I thought, well, now I have a choice. Either I become a very, very, very good developer myself, or I share it with other people, and probably that will create more value because, well, sharing is caring, and then it's multi-threading in a way. So today I will talk how to use open source to craft your career and not make it dependent on your friends from work. Because many of us, we just get into the river, and we just flow with the river, and we learn technologies which are pushed at us. You will not get to NASA this way. So for me, it all started with Bruno Souza, hombre de Brazil. My mentor from Brazil, he's Java champion and the only owner of Java Community Award. He's good. I suggest everybody to follow him. So besides, you can see his formula for success, I would say. And what I do normally, I take ideas from all the smart people around me and I create something new. And I always share who was the original author. So if I don't, just remind me and I will. So that's the formula. It's not an exact math, but it actually works, and it works very well. And I discovered it after I was doing open source for some time. So how does it work? All the stuff in the top is a good stuff you should do, or at least you should be aware of it. The idea is the same as when you're driving a car, you have a dashboard. It has nothing to do with your driving, but you still might want to take a look on it, because you can put a blanket there, but you might still want to know how much fuel is there. So first thing when you are doing open source is focus. This is extremely important because, why? Because I almost said AD Hub. On GitHub, a few years ago, there were over 200 million projects. You can easily start jumping between projects or doing stuff with no reason, and that will lead you nowhere. There might be no results at all, or maybe even bad results. So you really need to focus and understand what is the goal. So second thing is visibility. So the thing with open source is, and that's what I keep reminding people, especially I remind it to people from underrepresented groups, especially ladies. Because, why? Because there's a huge lack of ladies and some other groups, especially in management level, especially in the higher management level. So what I'm doing when I see somebody creating cool content or starting open source, I'm explaining that it's okay to become a very good developer, or you're already a very good developer, but your true value, your real value, as I see it, is doing it visibly. Because let's say I have a friend, you might even know her, Zaira, who created, I think, CodeBar. So she's doing everything openly. So as a result, there's a school in Ghana, there's schools in Ghana, there are CodeBar events all around the world. And what is more important, there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of girls who know that it's normal to be a CEO of a company. And that's my goal. So I'm trying to basically make people visible, because white non-artistic guys, with all respect, they already know that they can become CEOs. So but I still accept everybody. So just I accept people from Oxford, for example. That's okay, they made a bad decision, but they still can do open source. So action, it's not enough to be focused and visible. You need to start taking action, and you need to, because without it, there's nothing to show to people. If you just talk, but you don't create anything, then what are you talking about? It's just noise. People will unfollow you, and what is worse, there will be no like quality end result or continuous result, I would say. Skill. This is a good one, because when I started doing open source, that was actually quite funny how I started it. I've been to a DevOps conference, and I've met somebody really cool, Sal Kimmich. They gave a talk today at 12 o'clock. Amazing person. Started in Boeing Research, then MIT, then Sal's life greatly improved. So Sal's hobby was, and still is, to take one person and bring this person to the first commit to the open source. And I thought, well, Sal is much smarter than me and much better in everything, except one thing, I have more free time. So, and then I did nothing, no action. And then two friends from Tunisia and probably Egypt, I don't remember, came to me and asked, like, can you, because I wrote an article on Dev2, they asked me to talk to them. I made a Zoom session, talked to them, then they asked me to create a meetup. I created a meetup, 2 months, it's 500 people. Then I quit. I was stupid. I probably need to start it again. But what you will find that you can enter even NASA level projects with just doing typo fixes. And this is very important. So for example, when you open NASA in GitHub, I think if you press a dot, you will have a full-blown IDE just in your Chrome. And it will work in most countries of the world except Ghana, for example. Except, not exactly Ghana, but except like weak laptops with 4 gigabytes of memory. So what you'll find that you can keep writing about fixing typos for the rest of your life, but there are two things with it. First, you are not working to the full of your potential, and you are not showing other people that it's normal. And second, you're taking somebody else's place. Because there are kids who just grown up or finished university, or they cannot afford a college in India, or maybe like a friend of mine, Bilal Khan, he lives in Pakistan on the border with Afghanistan. So when he started, and he's amazing DevOps, I haven't edited him here, I should have. So for them, they need their first commit. And it would be really nice, so what I suggest to everybody, instead of fixing typo yourself, let's say you found typo in Civo, go and create a ticket. And ask people to mark it as a good first-time contribution. So don't take others' fun, create it. And you will grow as well. So you'll be solving more and more important things. Giving. So for me, it's all about giving, but it's more like giving and exchange. What I'm asking people is to make sure that you are getting something in return in terms of good vibes and energy. Because otherwise you're burnt out flat. When I started doing this stuff, I started it because I burned out at work completely. And I was in clinical depression, I still am. But I started open source to help people get out of depressions. Initially it was to prevent suicides, then it became help out of depressions. Then it became, because suicide is very hard, I helped 2 people, so I cannot take that much responsibility. Then it became free education access. Now I'm trying to help people find a job, or even better, earn money. It's different from finding a job. So I'm trying to give a lot, but I'm also trying to make sure that I receive something back. So you'll find that people I follow, all of them, they create something for others. And for me, it's important. So if I'm checking people who follow me, the person might have like 220 followers, and I will still follow this person because I've checked what this person writes about. I don't care that it's like 300, she follows like 300 people and 20 people follow her. I will go and say, your content is amazing. So I think you could like write an article at Dev2 and I will promote it. So giving is important, not keeping everything to yourself. Now, responsibility. There's a big one because as we grow, we become visible. I'm not sure it's pillars or what. So, for example, I try to behave as I should. So I wouldn't be using words like guys, because although I know that if I look up it in British vocabulary for like 10 years ago, it will be like it's for all genders, but well, people understand it differently. So I will try to use fellows or friends. I will also, so basically I will use they if person is using they. Basically I'm trying to create an environment. Basically I'm trying to be responsible for bringing people. If you check my accounts, you won't find anything about this disaster between Russia and Ukraine. You won't find anything about a disaster which happened between China and India. But what you will find is that a friend from Russia contacted me and said that a Ukrainian guy contacted her and wanted to enter her open source community. And she's asked, is he sure? Will it be safe for him? And then it came out that he didn't realize it's Russian one. So of course he didn't join these days, but she forwarded him to me because I work in Europe, and we created open source for Ukraine community. And it's led by amazing Mykola Bova now. So yeah, so that's my responsibility to make community, to make something good, to be stronger together, because there's enough stuff to pull people apart and create bad stuff. Consistency, that's a very good one, and both for people and social networks. So when I just started, and in real life, you cannot get a black belt in half an hour time. You cannot get a black belt in a week training 24 hours. So we say that, I don't have a black belt, but we say that black belt is a white belt who didn't quit. I would much rather have you doing stuff for half an hour in the morning, every day, or at some point in the day, than to do it like half of your weekend. In fact, what I tell people, for example, those who look for work, so that's the hero and the code bug create, right? Code roots, sorry, I always mix those. So yeah, she's amazing. Here, come there. Sorry, my autism, like, it's so funny. So that's the old famous Zara. Did I get this one right? Yes. You see, she's real. So consistency. What I tell to people is that it's important to grow visibly and daily. And I want it to be visible. So like, how can I start with open source? Well, with consistency, so just go and write a tweet that I'm starting with open source. I have no idea what it means. I'm starting. And then when you fail, write that you failed. But do it daily, because that will make you visible to other people, and they will come. Like one day Francesco will pop in, one day Graham, one day AD, one day Zaira. Somebody will see you, and they will come and say that, oh, you know, you're actually going wrong way. Oh, actually, this is a good way. Like, and people will help you. So that really, really, really helps. Oh, this one, selfish. So it's probably easy to get selfish, and my problem is I'm too much selfless. So you need to look to a balance. You need to take credits, but you need to make it about others, because good projects are done by numerous people. So, oh, this one. This one is lying, and this is the most toxic one. My mentor told me a story of a person who was using software to follow up on people with Java hashtag, and when they follow him, unfollow them automatically. And then he got caught and became not extremely popular with the community. So I used to check who unfollows me. I think it's not possible anymore on Twitter because they did stuff with the APIs. But what I also noticed, when I follow people for stuff they do, these people don't tend to unfollow me. So that's a very good visibility. So lying is like, it will kill you. Like if somebody tries, one of the examples is, I think I've seen somebody stealing Eddie's post. So my idea is that it's a very bad idea. So instead of stealing somebody's post, reshare it with your thoughts, because that will inspire the person who created content for you. That will inspire this person to write more, and you'll create a connection. As alternative, the person will burn out and you have nothing to build on. And be easy to approach. So both in talking, Like, well, it's easy to approach me, and I always say I'm autistic, so like if somebody feels uneasy, just tell me. I tend to mess up here and there. Oh, that's hi Tatiana. That's a founder of Minty Code, amazing person. Yeah, I have a special slide about Minty Code there. So now, how to apply all this stuff? So all that was good, but that was theoretical. Like you'll go home, you'll probably forget it. So what to do with it? Communities and practice. That's why I always say that when choosing a project, choose it by the health of community. It might be NASA, but it must have a good community. So, and that's an example actually for another talk, but that's an example of how I told people to look for a job. You go to LinkedIn, you select your geographical area, and you select your ideal job in 5 years' time. It can be like prime developer or prime somebody. And then you find 2 more jobs like this. And then you start comparing them like triangulation, and you try to find which open source technologies they talk about. And then you start contributing to these open source technologies. And you also cut your time. Instead of sending your resumes for 8 hours per day, you send them for 2. And then you spend 4 hours doing open source and learning, but doing it openly. So when you come to the interview with this amazing company, they will ask, what did you do? Somebody will say, oh, I did sports and read books, because, well, they were sending CVs. And you'll send the amount of your commits or your articles and stuff. And this stuff will matter for them, because this is the stuff they're using. And probably you'll know it better than them, because enterprises, well, they tend to use old versions. So now is the fun part, communities. Oh, so that goes the first one for me because of Sal Kimmich. They're the person who actually introduced me to open source. And that's the most knowledgeable person about security I know in the world. Sal is good, like really. And Sal created GetFly community. So the idea is that we create a noise about important issues. So we just finished a competition where everybody could write an article about artificial intelligence in the future. And yeah, we cooperated with Zaire as well and a few other communities. I was an open source communities manager there. Wow, that was fun. And we'll create more events. So it's GetFly AI. This one, OpenUK. Is anybody in the room who doesn't know what OpenUK is? Can you lift a hand? It's okay, I won't buy. So OpenUK, good. OpenUK is one of the most important, I would say, open source communities in the world to be aware of. You won't find us talking about like code, like specific lines of code, but you will find us talking about legislation. You'll find us talking about communities growth. Amanda Brock, who leads us, she's been, I think she's been 6 years as a lawyer in Canonical, like a real lawyer. We care about open data, open source, and open hardware. We do meetups every month, which are hybrid. At least few last of them were. The idea is they're hybrid, which means that somebody from Pakistan can still watch, which is good. And we do a conference, I think, last one was in February. It was opened by a Wikipedia founder, and it was in front of House of Parliament for 2 days, and it was, I missed that one. I got my depression hit, but it was one of the most inclusive conferences I could see ever, because we had a room for kids, we had a room for like to leave your dogs and stuff like that. It was like amazing how much, and that's all because Amanda really believes in this. So that's an amazing community, and we also do reports. So we just did 2 reports called "Show Us the Money," where we went to the industry leaders and developers from UK, and we asked like for problems in community and so on. And why it's important as well is because the percentage of people having a GitHub account in UK is extremely high. I think we have like maybe 9 million accounts of something like crazy. I think it's in millions. Now this one, I'm not sure if it is in the room, but that's it's actually not about Eddie as much. It's bigger than him now. It's called Beardrop. So when people come to me and they ask me how to start open source, there are two projects. First one is how to make your first commits. But this project, what it allows you to do, you know all those cool apps which show all your LinkedIn contacts and stuff, and they show your QR code so people can easily connect. But the problem is that most of them were paid. Like I think BioLink, for example, you need to pay for it. And it will cost you like 10 quid. And it might be not a big problem in UK till last crisis, but it accumulates. And in other countries, it's expensive. So Eddie, who is an amazing person, 200K I think on YouTube, over 100K on Twitter, he created a community, I think together with Francesco, right? So I'm not sure how much Francesco was involved because I don't really. Sorry? Yeah. Okay, but so anyway, this is a very healthy community to start doing open source. Somebody comes to you and asks like, how can I start open source? This one. And the person will create the page, they have a constructor and everything, and the person will actually learn how it works. So let's say you are Civo or you are Sneak or somebody, people come to you and they want to participate in your community, but they're not quite ready yet. Well, this one. The only thing they might not want to leave later. It's good. So obviously Civo and Civo Ambassador Program, very open, a great conference. Kunal is great, and the stories they share is great, and support. And when you're creating stuff about cloud, you can expect that Civo will reshare your stuff quite often, which is, I wish more companies did it. It's very healthy, and obviously Kunal, if you read about his story, about his how he built himself using open source as an education of choice, I would say. Amazing person, a legend, like really a legend. So Sneak, sorry, it's my Kubuntu didn't like this slide, but Sneak, it's not an exactly open source company, although they have some open source connectors, but they support communities, and they have a community. It's around DevSecOps. It's a good one to follow, especially if you want to move into security. This one, it's Minty Code. So another startup to follow. It's very young, but the idea is, well, there's a huge roadmap, but the idea is two things. First one, it allows you to raise sponsored tickets on, let's say, GitHub for now. And so the repo owner can accept a payment when they finish the job. But what I personally see, and I'm a DevRel ambassador there, by the way, so I really love this stuff. But what I see with this one, why it's beautiful, is that if you look at the internships, like MLH or anything, just how many people are applying for one place? It's like 10,000 people per place, because they put you in an open source project, they pay your salary, it's good. MLH, Outreach, there are few of them, but they're clearly not enough. What if instead of that, you create your own repository with something useful? I don't care, it can be Kubernetes, it can be security, or it can be a cookbook, but it has to bring value to the community. And then if people want you to create some additional stuff, which is not in your roadmap, they can go to Minty Code and raise a sponsored ticket. So instead of hoping that somebody in some cool organization accepts you or gives you a job when there's 900 people in the queue, you can create an open source project which matters for people. So for example, you can create a page with conferences. Oh, and that's me, Nikita Koselev. Somewhere I've heard that it's better to leave your name to the last slide. So I'm ambassador at Open UK, DevRel at Minty Code, open source community manager at Catfly, ambassador in Sneak, and ambassador at OpenAppSec, another amazing community. I haven't started working yet, but what we are doing there, we created an AI firewall for 0-hour vulnerabilities. So as I understand, when a vulnerability is found, hackers will start exploiting it right now, and the companies have to wait for 3 hours to get protected. Well, they might roll back or something, but still there's like this window of opportunity. So what OpenAppSec does, they will try to intercept requests which look like somebody is exploiting this stuff. And then inside, there's a machine learned model which is trained with your own data, which is trained with what do requests and responses to your application look like on the normal day. So even if this vulnerability hasn't been found yet, it will stop them because they don't look like your normal workflow. I'm yet to look into this thing because it's going crazy. Just people come to me and ask my opinion. That's a very interesting feeling. So yeah, questions? Sure. Is there a second microphone, or should I share? I can share.
Thanks, Nikita. A question I had, I'm Chandeep, by the way. One of the questions I had is, how do you find time to do all of these different things? There's 5 things on the screen over there, and then I'm sure you do other things on top of that as well. Any tips?
Well, this is the hard one because you know this girl, Greta Thunberg from Sweden. She's autistic, she cares about nature. I'm autistic, I care about open source and people. Okay, to be honest, I don't care about open source at all. I care about something which creates value for people and gets them to get out of trouble. If somebody shows me how to help a girl in a village in Gambia or Ghana or somewhere else, I don't know, in Brazil, to become an AI engineer, and this way is better than open source, I don't know, dancing and doing magic, I will start doing dancing and doing magic. I don't care about open source, I care about results to bring to people. So how do I find time? I just do it. So there's 24 hours per day, same as Napoleon had. If I do my job for like 6-7 hours per day, I still have a lot of time. So yeah, I just do it. And that's what I love to do. And when I share and I create it around stuff I love. So it's like doing a hobby in a way, if it helps. And I leave other things which I don't like that much to other people who might love it. Questions? Good. So that's Zaira, amazing one. Definitely follow her and talk to her. She created the Code Roots community. And that's an amazing one because when you read the description of the school, which struck me, the first one, which country was it? Gambia. So the first line was there, it is a safe place. And when you read, one of the lines there, and when you read about a school which puts on their page that it's a safe place, and when you see what these kids create, you're like, wow. And it really shifts your mind. And yeah, and in the back of the room, a very shy person in green dress, it's Tatiana, a founder of Minticode. So if anyone is interested how to bring money to your startups, then talk to her. But she's also like, not like PhD from Oxford in basically in AI, large language model stuff. And also a law degree, so like a version of Amanda Brock, but more in AI side. Okay, that's it. So contact me and I will help. That's it.